The little girl approached the massive biker slowly, clutching a crayon drawing. He was 6'5", covered in tattoos, beard to his chest, terrifying to most adults. But Sophie wasn't scared. She held out the picture, a motorcycle with angel wings protecting a small girl. "My daddy was a biker," she whispered, then ran back to her mother. The big man stared at the drawing, at the police patches carefully colored, and his hands began to shake. He knew that badge, knew that officer, his childhood best friend, killed 2 years ago. This was David's daughter. If this story touches your heart, please like and share. Sometimes the smallest gestures create the biggest miracles. Sophie Chen was 6 years old and painfully shy. She rarely spoke at school, made few friends, preferred her crayons and paper to playgrounds and noise. Her mother, Rachel, understood. Sophie had been 4 when her father died. Officer David Chen, killed in the line of duty during a convenience store robbery. He'd positioned himself between the gunman and 3 customers, took 4 bullets, saved 3 lives, lost his own. Sophie remembered fragments: Daddy's laugh, his uniform, the motorcycle he rode on weekends. A beautiful Harley-Davidson Road King. He'd restored himself. After David died, Rachel sold the bike, too painful to keep. But Sophie never forgot it. She drew motorcycles constantly, dozens of pictures, all variations of Daddy's bike. Rachel kept them in a box, a chronicle of Sophie's grief, expressed through crayon and marker. "Why do you draw motorcycles so much, honey?" Rachel asked gently. "Because when I draw them, I remember Daddy. The bike made him happy. Drawing makes me happy." Rachel's heart broke daily. Single mother, working 2 jobs, one as a nurse, one as a waitress, barely making ends meet, living in a modest apartment in Oakdale, California. Sophie deserved better. David would have wanted better. But Rachel was doing her best, and Sophie, despite her shyness and sadness, was a sweet child. Kind, thoughtful, artistic. Saturday morning, Rachel saw a flyer. Annual Road Kings MC charity event, Oakdale City Park. Motorcycle club organizing a fundraiser for local children's hospital. Food, music, bike show. "Sophie, want to see motorcycles? Real ones?" Sophie's eyes lit up, rare brightness. "Yes, can we go?" "Absolutely." They arrived at noon. The park was packed. Dozens of motorcycles lined up, gleaming chrome, roaring engines, riders in leather. The Road Kings MC, established club, well-respected, known for community service despite rough appearance. Sophie was mesmerized. She walked slowly between bikes, studying each one. Rachel watched, fighting tears. This was David's world. The world he'd loved. One bike stood out, a massive black and chrome Harley Road King, just like David's had been. Sophie stopped in front of it, staring. "You like that one?" A deep voice rumbled behind them. Rachel turned. A giant of a man stood there, 6'5", easily 250, arms like tree trunks, full beard, leather vest covered in patches. His vest said, "Crusher, President." Rachel instinctively pulled Sophie closer. The man noticed and smiled gently. "Sorry, I know I look scary. That's my bike. Your daughter has good taste. That's a 98 Road King, classic." Sophie whispered, "My daddy had one like it." "Did he? Smart man. These are the best bikes ever made." "My daddy died." The big man's expression shifted, immediate empathy. "I'm sorry, sweetheart, that's really hard." Sophie nodded. Then, surprising Rachel, she asked, "Can I draw your bike?" "Absolutely. Take your time." Sophie sat on a bench, pulled out her ever-present sketch pad and crayons, drew for 20 minutes. The biker, Crusher, watched patiently. Other club members stopped by, saw him standing guard over the little girl, smiled knowingly. Crusher had a reputation for being tough but fair, and surprisingly gentle with kids. When Sophie finished, she'd created something remarkable, not just the bike, but Crusher beside it, with angel wings, and a small girl standing safely behind him. She walked up to Crusher, shy again, and held out the picture. "For you. Thank you for letting me draw." Crusher took the drawing carefully, looked at it, really looked. At the details, the bike's specifics, accurate, the angel wings, the protected child, and on the bike, carefully drawn, police patches, small but unmistakable. His hands started shaking. "Sophie, your daddy, was he a police officer?" "Yes, sir, Officer David Chen. He was a hero. Mommy says he saved people." Crusher's face went white. He knelt down, eye level with Sophie. "Sweetheart, what's your mommy's name?" "Rachel Chen." Crusher looked up at Rachel. "You're David's wife?" Rachel was confused. "Yes. Did you know him?" Crusher's voice cracked. "Know him? David Chen was my best friend. We grew up together. I introduced him to motorcycles, taught him to ride. We lost touch after I joined the Marines, then the club. I heard he became a cop. Then I heard—" He couldn't finish. Rachel's hand covered her mouth. "You're Michael Harrison. David talked about you. His best friend from high school. You joined the military and became Crusher. Yeah, that's me." He looked at Sophie. "Your daddy was the best man I ever knew. We were brothers." Sophie's eyes filled with tears. "You knew my daddy? I loved your daddy. He was family, and that means your family too." Sophie hugged him. This massive, terrifying biker knelt in the park, crying, hugging a 6-year-old girl who'd just given him a picture that broke and healed his heart simultaneously. Rachel cried too. "Michael, I'm so sorry we didn't reach out. After David died, everything was chaos. I didn't know how to find his old friends. It's okay, but I'm here now, and I'm not going anywhere." Crusher stood, still holding Sophie's drawing like it was made of gold. "Rachel, can I keep this?" "Of course. Thank you." He looked at his club members gathering around. "Brothers, this is Sophie, David Chen's daughter. David was my best friend, my brother. He died a hero. And his daughter just gave me the most precious gift I've ever received." The Road Kings surrounded Sophie and Rachel, introducing themselves, gentle despite appearances, each expressing condolences for David's death, each thanking Sophie for the drawing. "Sir," one member said, "we should do something for David's family." Crusher nodded slowly. "Yeah, we should. Rachel, where do you live?" She gave the address. "Why? You'll see. Sophie, thank you for this drawing. I'm going to treasure it forever. And I promise your daddy's brothers are going to make sure you and your mom are taken care of. Okay?" "Okay." They left the event. Sophie was happier than Rachel had seen her in 2 years. "Mommy, Crusher knew Daddy. Isn't that amazing?" "It really is, honey." That night, Crusher called an emergency club meeting. 30 Road Kings members assembled. He held up Sophie's drawing. "Brothers, today I met a little girl, 6 years old, shy, sweet, artist. She gave me this. Look at it. Really look." The drawing passed around. Tough bikers getting emotional. "This girl is David Chen's daughter, Officer David Chen, killed in the line of duty 2 years ago. David was my best friend growing up. I lost touch with him. I didn't know he died until today. I didn't know he had a daughter. I didn't know his widow was struggling to make ends meet." His voice hardened. "We failed him. He was family, and we didn't know he needed us. We can't fix that, but we can fix the future. For Sophie, for Rachel. Who's with me?" 30 hands raised, 30 voices. "We're in." "Good. Here's the plan." Crusher worked through the night, called club chapters in 5 states, posted Sophie's story, and drawing on the Road Kings national network. "Officer David Chen's daughter, widow struggling. We're mobilizing. Who can help?" Responses flooded in. Money, supplies, volunteers. Within 12 hours, $25,000 was raised. But Crusher wanted more than money. He wanted presence. He wanted Sophie to understand she wasn't alone. "We're doing a sunrise ride. Tomorrow morning, every brother available meets at Sophie's apartment complex. We're making a statement." At 5 a.m. Sunday, Rachel woke to a sound. Deep, growing louder. Rumbling that shook the windows. She looked outside, froze, the parking lot, the street, filled with motorcycles. Dozens, no hundreds, all Road Kings, all lined up in perfect formation. Riders dismounting, gathering around a central point where Crusher stood. Rachel woke Sophie. "Honey, you need to see this." They went to the window together. Sophie gasped. "Mommy, why are there so many motorcycles?" "I think they're here for you, baby." They went downstairs. Every resident in the complex was outside staring. 200 bikers in formation, each holding something. Gifts wrapped, bags filled, boxes stacked. Crusher saw them and walked forward. "Sophie, Rachel, good morning." "Michael, what is this?" "This is the Road Kings. 200 brothers from 8 chapters. They came because Sophie reminded us what matters. Her daddy was a hero. He saved lives. He protected people. And we're going to protect his family. Starting now." He gestured. Bikers came forward, presenting gifts. A pink bicycle, perfect size for Sophie. Every kid needs a bike. School supplies. For the whole year and next year. Clothes. Growing kids need new stuff constantly. Toys, art supplies, books. And this, Crusher handed Rachel an envelope. $25,000. Raised in 12 hours. For whatever you need. Rent. Bills, Sophie's future, use it wisely. Rachel collapsed to her knees, sobbing. "I can't accept this." "You can and you will. David was family. That makes you family. Family takes care of family. No arguments." Sophie hugged Crusher. "Thank you. Thank you so much." "Thank you, sweetheart. Your drawing reminded me who I used to be, who David wanted me to stay. I lost my way. You brought me back." The bikers formed a circle around Sophie and Rachel. Crusher spoke to the crowd of residents watching. "This little girl lost her father, Officer David Chen, hero cop. He died protecting strangers. His widow and daughter have been struggling alone. That ends today. The Road Kings claim them as family. Anyone messes with them messes with us. Anyone needs to help them, we're available. This is what Brotherhood looks like, taking care of those who can't take care of themselves." The residents applauded, some crying. They'd seen rough bikers and assumed the worst. Now they saw men honoring a fallen officer's family with overwhelming generosity. A news van arrived, local station covering the charity event. They saw this and immediately started filming. The reporter approached. "Sir, can you explain what's happening?" Crusher held up Sophie's drawing. "This little girl gave me a picture yesterday. She didn't know I was her father's best friend, didn't know we'd lost touch. Her simple gesture of kindness reminded me of my duty, to David, to his family. These brothers came to honor that duty. We're establishing a trust fund for Sophie's education. We're providing ongoing support for Rachel. We're making sure David's sacrifice wasn't in vain. His daughter will have every opportunity to thrive." What inspired such a massive response? "Look at the drawing. She drew me with angel wings, protecting a child. That's what David did, protected the vulnerable. That's what we do. People see bikers and think criminals. Sometimes that's fair, but mostly we're just men who ride together and take care of our own. Sophie is our own now." The story aired that evening, went viral overnight. Bikers honor fallen officer's daughter. National news picked it up. The drawing, Sophie's crayon masterpiece, was shown on every network. Donations poured into the trust fund. By the end of the week, $150,000. By the end of the month, $300,000. But the Road King's gift was more than money. It was presence. Crusher became Uncle Mike to Sophie, visited weekly, took her for ice cream, taught her about motorcycles, the safe, age-appropriate way. "Your daddy loved bikes. When you're old enough, if you want, I'll teach you to ride, just like I taught him." "Really?" "Really." "But that's years away. For now, you focus on being a kid. Drawing, school, fun. Let the adults worry about the rest." Other Road Kings became uncles too. 30 men who regularly checked on Sophie and Rachel, fixed things around the apartment, provided rides when needed, showed up for school events when Rachel had to work. Rachel's life transformed. The financial burden lifted. She reduced to one job, just nursing her passion. Had time for Sophie, energy for life. "Michael, I don't know how to thank you." "You don't have to. David would have done the same for me. I'm just repaying a debt I owed him." Sophie blossomed. Her shyness didn't disappear, but she smiled more, laughed, made friends at school, kids fascinated by her uncle bikers who attended her birthday party. "Sophie, your uncles are so cool!" her classmates exclaimed. "They have motorcycles." Sophie beamed with pride. They knew my daddy. He was a hero. The Road Kings established an annual event, Officer David Chen Memorial Ride. Hundreds of bikers riding to raise money for families of fallen first responders. The first ride raised $50,000. Sophie attended, riding in a sidecar attached to Crusher's bike. Shy little girl, waving to crowds lining the streets. Her drawing, now professionally reproduced on every rider's vest. The angel biker protecting the child became the Road King's symbol for their charity work. At 7, Sophie spoke at the Memorial Ride's kickoff. "My daddy died protecting people. He was brave. Now his friends protect me and Mommy. They're brave too. I love them very much. Thank you for helping other families like mine." Standing ovation. 2,000 people crying over a 7-year-old's words. By age 10, Sophie had become confident, still artistic, but outgoing now. She started a program, Art for Heroes, teaching kids to create drawings for first responders, veterans, essential workers. Uncle Mike taught me that small gestures matter. My drawing changed my life. Maybe other kids' drawings can brighten someone else's day. The program took off. Thousands of children participating. Drawings sent to fire stations, police departments, hospitals, military bases. Recipients cherished them. One firefighter wrote, "I received a drawing from a 7-year-old. It showed me rescuing a cat. I'd been considering retirement. Too tired, too burnt out. That drawing reminded me why I started. I'm staying. That kid saved my career with crayons and paper." At 12, Sophie was invited to speak at a national conference on community policing. How citizens and law enforcement build trust. "My daddy was a police officer," she told the audience of 500 cops and community leaders. "He died protecting people. After he died, my mom and I struggled. We were alone. Then I gave a drawing to a biker. I didn't know he was Daddy's best friend. That drawing brought 200 bikers to my home. They supported us, protected us, loved us, because Daddy had loved them." She held up the original drawing, framed, preserved. "This changed my life, not because it was special art, because it was honest love, offered freely. That's what builds community, honest love. My daddy loved his community enough to die for it. His friends loved him enough to care for his family. That's the cycle. Love creating more love." Officers and leaders stood, applauding, some crying. Tough cops reduced to tears by a 12-year-old's wisdom. Crusher watched from the back, pride overwhelming him. David's daughter was extraordinary, smart, compassionate, brave, everything David had been, plus more. After the speech, Crusher hugged Sophie. "Your dad would be so proud. Do you think he sees me from heaven?" "I know he does, and he's smiling. You're everything he hoped you'd be." At 15, Sophie was thriving. Honor student, artist, volunteer. She worked with the Road Kings on their charity events, helped organize rides, designed promotional materials. "You're basically a Road Kings member," one biker joked. "Honorary member," Crusher corrected. "She's too young for an official vest. But when she turns 18, if she wants it, she's got one waiting." Sophie smiled. "I'd be honored. You guys are family." Rachel watched her daughter flourish, saw the shy 6-year-old become a confident teenager, all because of a drawing, a gesture of kindness that sparked overwhelming response. "Michael, thank you for everything, for seeing David in Sophie, for honoring his memory by caring for us, for being the uncle she needed. Rachel, I should thank you. And Sophie, that drawing woke me up, reminded me of who I used to be, David's best friend, someone who cared about people, not just bikes and brotherhood. You gave me back my humanity." On Sophie's 16th birthday, the Road Kings threw a party. 300 bikers celebrating a young woman who'd changed their club forever. Crusher presented her with a gift. "Sophie, 16 years ago, your dad and I were best friends. Then life separated us. I became someone different, harder, colder. Then you gave me a drawing. 10 years ago today, actually. It was a week before your birthday. That drawing reminded me who I was supposed to be. So today, on your birthday, I want to give you something. He handed her a package. Sophie unwrapped it. Inside was a leather vest. Not full Road King's colors, she was too young, but a custom design. Her name, honorary Road King's member, and embroidered on the back, her original drawing. The angel biker protecting the little girl. This is yours. When you turn 18, if you want full colors, they're yours. But for now, this shows your family forever. Sophie cried. Put on the vest. It fit perfectly. Thank you, Uncle Mike, for everything. For knowing Daddy, for taking care of us, for being family. Thank you, Sophie. For the drawing, for reminding me what matters, for being exactly the person your dad hoped you'd be. The party lasted into the night. Sophie wearing her vest, surrounded by 300 bikers who'd become her extended family, all because a shy 6-year-old offered a crayon drawing to a scary-looking stranger. That stranger was her daddy's best friend. That drawing was a bridge across grief. That moment sparked a movement, small gestures, enormous impact. That's the power of kindness freely given. Sophie learned it. The Road Kings lived it, and thousands benefited from it. All starting with crayons, paper, and a little girl's love for her fallen hero father. Sometimes the smallest hands carry the biggest gifts. Sophie proved that, and changed the world doing it. At 18, Sophie graduated as valedictorian. Her speech addressed 300 classmates, including 50 Road Kings sitting front row. 12 years ago, I gave a drawing to a stranger. That stranger became family. That drawing became a movement. Today, I stand here confident because one person saw value in a child's gesture. She looked at Crusher. Uncle Mike, you taught me kindness multiplies. Now I want to create that multiplication for others. Sophie announced plans. Art therapy degree. I want to help kids process trauma through creativity. Art saved me. I'll give that tool to others. The Road Kings funded her education fully. Sophie chose local college. Home is here, with family. I'm not leaving. At 19, Sophie volunteered at a children's grief center. One boy, 8, father killed in combat, hadn't spoken in 6 months. Sophie sat with him, drew quietly, didn't push. After an hour, he picked up a crayon, drew a soldier with angel wings. That's my dad, he whispered, first words in half a year. Sophie understood completely. He was a hero. The center director was amazed. How did you reach him? I was him. I know that loss. Art helped me. I just shared that. At 22, Sophie graduated with honors. Hired immediately by the Children's Hospital, the same one the Road King's original charity event had benefited. Full circle, Rachel observed. The event where you met Uncle Mike raised money for this hospital. Everything connects, Sophie said. Small actions create ripples we can't imagine. The hospital created a dedicated wing, Sophie Chen Center for Pediatric Healing Arts, funded by Road Kings and community donations. Sophie worked with children facing cancer, trauma, chronic illness, grief. Her success rate was remarkable. She understands them, one parent said. She's been through loss. She gives hope. At 25, Sophie received the National Art Therapy Association's Emerging Leader Award. Her acceptance speech was humble. I received extraordinary love during darkness. A drawing brought 200 bikers to my home. They showed me community heals. I'm passing forward what was given to me. Standing ovation. Crusher cried openly. A director approached after. Ms. Chen, we'd like to expand your programs nationally. Interested? Very interested. Within 6 months, Sophie's model was in 50 cities. The Road Kings partnered, providing volunteer networks everywhere. We're not just a motorcycle club, Crusher told members. We're a healing organization. Sophie showed us our purpose. At 30, Sophie had become a national figure, published author, sought-after speaker, director of a non-profit serving 10,000 children annually, but she remained grounded. Still lived in Oakdale, visited Crusher weekly, rode with Road Kings on charity events. Some people leave when they succeed, she told interviewers. I stay because home made me succeed. The Road Kings are my foundation. Rachel, now 58, volunteered with Sophie's non-profit. My daughter is my hero. She took tragedy and created hope. Crusher, 70, had slowed but still rode when able. Sophie keeps me young, reminds me why we do this, for kids who need support. At 32, Sophie met James, firefighter, Road King's volunteer. His father had died in service when James was 12. We're both living legacies, James said. They married 2 years later, Road King's event. 200 bikers in formal leather. Crusher walked Sophie down the aisle. David would want this, Sophie told him. You've been my dad. You earned this honor. Crusher's voice broke. Greatest honor of my life. At the reception, Sophie toasted, The Road Kings taught me family isn't DNA. It's who shows up, who stays, who loves unconditionally. You showed up for me, I'll never forget. 200 bikers stood, saluting. Sophie and James had a daughter, Grace. By age 3, Grace drew motorcycles. By 5, she gave drawings to Road Kings at events. History repeats beautifully, Rachel observed. At 38, Sophie received devastating news. Crusher had terminal cancer, months left. She visited daily, brought Grace to brighten his days. Uncle Mike, you can't leave. Sophie, you don't need me. You're strong. My job is done. You're not a job. You're my dad. Crusher's eyes filled. I never had kids. You gave me fatherhood. Thank you. Crusher passed 6 weeks later. Surrounded by Road Kings, Rachel, Sophie, James, and Grace. His last words to Sophie, tell Grace about her grandpa David, about the drawing, about small gestures changing worlds. Keep teaching that. I'm proud of you. I love you, Dad. I love you too, daughter. The funeral was massive. 500 Road Kings, officials, community members, children. Sophie had helped, now adults bringing their own children. Sophie gave the eulogy. Uncle Mike was Dad's best friend. When Dad died, Mike became my second father, because I gave him a drawing. That gesture revealed our connection. She held up the original drawing. This changed my life, but Uncle Mike changed it more. He showed me family is choice, that love is action, that healing happens when community surrounds you. Uncle Mike, thank you for being Dad's friend, for being my father, for teaching me that tough exteriors hide soft hearts. You were beautiful. I'll miss you forever. The Road Kings saluted. Sophie placed the original drawing in Crusher's casket. Take it with you. Show Dad. Tell him we're okay because of you. 5 years later, Sophie stood at the 20th anniversary of the Officer David Chen Memorial Ride. Now 43, she'd spent decades healing others. Grace, 13, stood beside her. James held their son David, age 4, named for his grandfather. 20 years ago, Uncle Mike created this ride, Sophie told 2,000 attendees, to honor Dad, to help families of fallen first responders. In 20 years, we've raised $12 million, helped 800 families. She looked at the Road Kings. Uncle Mike taught me legacy isn't what you do, it's what continues after you're gone. This ride heals, the money helps, but presence heals more. Grace approached the microphone, shy like Sophie had been. I never met Grandpa David or Great Uncle Mike, but I know them through stories, through this. May she held up her own drawing, motorcycle with angel wings, 2 riders representing David and Crusher, protecting a small girl. This is my version of Mom's drawing. Grandpa and Great Uncle Mike protect me from heaven. Road Kings protect me on earth. I'm drawing this for every kid who lost a parent. The crowd erupted. Grace's drawing projected on screens, echoing Sophie's original from 37 years earlier. Sophie hugged her daughter. You're continuing the tradition. Small gestures, big impact. You taught me, Mum. 25 years after Sophie's drawing, her programs had helped 50,000 children. Art for Healing operated in 200 cities globally, trained 3,000 therapists. Sophie had written 5 books, received dozens of awards, but remained humble. I'm just a girl who gave a drawing to her dad's friend. Everything after was community response. I didn't create healing, I opened a door, community walked through. At 50, Sophie still worked. Rachel, 78, volunteered weekly, James, fire chief, supported Sophie's mission. Grace, 23, became an art therapist. I'm honoring Grandpa and Great-Uncle Mike, continuing what they started. Little David, 14, drew constantly. Motorcycles, heroes, family. History repeats beautifully, Sophie observed. On Sophie's 55th birthday, the Road Kings announced the club scholarship was renamed the Officer David Chen and Michael Crusher Harrison Memorial Scholarship. Two men who changed one girl. That girl changed thousands. This scholarship will help others do the same. Sophie cried. Dad and Uncle Mike would be proud. They are, the president said. Wherever they are, they're watching. At 60, Sophie passed leadership to therapists she'd trained, but remained active, volunteered, drew with kids, rode memorial rides. I'm not retiring, just shifting. Let others lead, like Uncle Mike supported me. Grace had her own family, 2 children, both artists. 4 generations touched by Dad's sacrifice, Sophie told Rachel. You created that, honey. No, Mum. Dad's love started it. Uncle Mike's response. The Road King's support. Community created this. At 70, Sophie received a Lifetime Achievement Award. The keynote speaker was one of the first children she'd helped, now 45, successful therapist. Sophie saved my life. I was 8, lost my dad, shut down. Sophie sat with me, drew quietly, understood. She taught me art expresses what words can't, that healing is possible. He looked at Sophie. I became a therapist because of you. I've helped 300 kids. Those kids will help others. That's your legacy. Not thousands helped directly, millions helped indirectly through those you inspired. Sophie smiled through tears. That's what Uncle Mike taught me. Legacy multiplies. Small gestures create infinite ripples. At 75, Sophie passed peacefully. Surrounded by family, Road Kings, dozens she'd helped who became helpers themselves. Her funeral drew 5,000 people, 3 generations of Road Kings, hundreds of children. Now adults she'd helped, colleagues, friends, family. Grace gave the eulogy. My mother was shy, quiet, but her quiet contained power. She gave a drawing to a stranger. That drawing changed everything because it was honest. It expressed love and loss. Uncle Mike responded with love. That response created a movement. She held up the original drawing. This is history, legacy, love made visible. Mom taught me our smallest actions echo forever, that community heals, that grace multiplies. She lived that truth. Now we carry it forward. The Road Kings saluted. Thousands stood in respect. Sophie was buried beside Crusher. Her headstone. Sophie Chen, daughter, mother, healer. She drew angels and became one. Her legacy continued through Grace, through David, through thousands of therapists trained in her methodology, through hundreds of thousands of children helped by her programs. But her greatest legacy was simpler. She proved small gestures matter, that kindness multiplies, that community heals, that a shy 6-year-old's drawing can change the world because she had courage to approach a stranger and offer a gift from her heart, because that stranger had wisdom to see connection where others saw only paper and crayon, because community responded with overwhelming love. The drawing hangs in the Road Kings National Headquarters. Millions have seen it. Millions more will. Each person who sees it learns Sophie's lesson. Never underestimate the power of love freely given. Never dismiss the value of small acts of kindness. Never doubt that you can change the world. Sophie did. With crayons, paper, and a heart brave enough to offer a gift. That stranger became family. That family became community. That community became a movement, all from one drawing, one moment, one little girl who believed angels protect us. She was right. Angels do protect us. Sometimes they ride motorcycles. 30 years after Sophie's death, Grace stood at the 50th anniversary of the memorial ride. Now 73, she held her great-granddaughter, also named Sophie. Your great-great-grandpa was a hero cop, Grace told little Sophie. Your great-grandma drew a picture that changed everything. Now you carry that legacy. Little Sophie, age 5, held up her own drawing, a motorcycle with angel wings. 4 riders now, David, Crusher, Sophie and James, all watching over a small girl. "I drew this for you, Grandma Grace. Angels protect us," Grace cried, holding her great-granddaughter, surrounded by road kings who never forgot the shy 6-year-old who'd sparked a movement 5 decades earlier. "Yes, baby, angels protect us. And they taught us to protect each other. That's the lesson, that's the legacy, that's love." The crowd of 5,000, bikers, families, children, therapists, community members stood together, united by a simple truth learned from a simple drawing. Small gestures create infinite impact when offered with love and received with grace. Sophie Chen proved it. The Road Kings lived it, and generations continue it, forever and always, because that's what happens when a shy little girl finds courage, when a tough biker finds his heart, when community finds its purpose. Magic happens, healing happens, love multiplies, and angels, whether in heaven or on motorcycles, watch over us all. That's Sophie's story. That's grace. That's the power of a drawing given with love to a stranger who became family. Never forget it. Never stop giving. Never stop believing in the power of small gestures. They change everything. Sophie proved it. Now we continue it. One drawing, one act of kindness, one moment of courage at a time, forever.